Kiddushin, daf ches. Welcome to another 8-minute daf where we go over the daf, the main parts, the synopsis of the daf. And if you're interested in a little bit more, check out the full share. It's approximately 45 minutes. There are charts. Today we had great animation. Check out the end of this video. I think you'll enjoy. The Gemara tells us that if somebody's mekadesh a woman with silk, so there's a number of steps here, as you can see in the chart. According to everybody, if the husband, the chassan, says, this is worth 50, and it turns out it's not worth 50, according to everybody, there's no Kiddushin. If he says, whatever it's worth, so there is Kiddushin, besides Rav Yosef in the second Lashon, who learns from it Ivri, that cannot be bought with tvua and kalim, movable objects. According to Rabbah, this means chalipin. According to Rav Nachman, peiros don't make chalipin, so you can't say that it's referring to chalipin. So we're talking about a very interesting case. We're talking about that the fruit is worth less than a shavar pruta. And I would think, mekarvan yasa. In other words, even though it's worth less than a pruta, but since the enjoyment, the benefit is right here and now, perhaps you could make a kinyan for an eved with that kind of hana. It's worth sometimes more than a pruta of money because I'm having hana right now. Nevertheless, this eved ivri cannot be nikna with pagzim shavar pruta. The machlokes between Rabbi and Rav Yosef is when a person, chassan, says, this is worth 50, and in fact, it is worth 50. According to Rabbah, there's Kiddushin because it was exactly what he said. But according to Rav Yosef, even though it's exactly what he said, she's not soymech das. She doesn't trust it. According to the second Lashon, where there wasn't a professional assessment, just like by a calf, if somebody says, take this calf, he tells the kohen he has a firstborn son, he wants to be paid him with 5 slime, he says, take this calf for the pidyon haben of my son, and it's worth 5 slime, he tells him. It's a good pidyon haben. Because it's assessed, it was evaluated. According to Rabbah, when it's not worth 5, it's not worth 5 selah. And the kohen accepted it as if it's worth 5. So the Gemara tells us, it's very interesting. If it's something like a sudar, a yarmulke, a head covering, and he's a very important person and he really needs it, so he could take something that actually has a market value of, let's say, 2, and for him right now, it's worth 5 because he really needs it. Another case, the Gemara says, if a chassan tells the kala, I'm giving you 100 for the Kiddushin. And instead of giving her 100, he gives her 1 dinar out of 100, 1%. The halacha is the Kiddushin takes place immediately, and he just has to give the rest, because we say, it's as if he said, on condition, I'm going to give you the rest. The Kiddushin is chal right away with the first dinner. The rest is just a t'nai, it begins right here and now. If a chassan says, I want to be mekadesh you with this 100 right here, both the chassan and the kala could retract until the end. But Rav Ashi says, even when he's counting, because he's counting, so it goes by the end. If the chassan gave her the money at night, and you find between the money, one of the dinarim is not worth a full dinar. It's made out of copper, not mekudesh. Now, if it's a bad dinar, what does that mean, bad? That you could barely use it. If you really push it, you could get it through, somebody will take it. So then the Kiddushin is chal, and he has to change out that bad dinar. If a person is mekadesh with 100, he said, I'm going to give you 100, but he never gave 100. He gave her a security, a collateral. The Gemara tells us, mana enkan, mashkin enkan. First of all, he didn't give her any money. He promised her money. The security, that's not what he's mekadesh with it. It's just a collateral, a guarantee. The same thing is if a person buys a slave, a shivcha. If he doesn't give money, he just gives a security, and then she wants to take it back, she can. But if the chassan gives someone else's mashkin, in other words, somebody owes him money. Say somebody owes him $20,000, and the guy gave him as collateral, as security, gave him a Rolex watch. The chassan can take the Rolex watch and give it to the kala, because right now the chassan owns the watch halachically. The Torah considers it as if it's his, and therefore he gave her something, and there's a loan connected to this watch. So if the borrower comes and retrieves his watch and pays back the loan, at least she'll get the loan. So one way or another, she's getting something. She's getting something right now, and it's actually worth whatever the loan is worth. From the fact that the Torah says that the lender should give back the security at night, let's say it's PJs or whatever it is that the borrower needs at night, he gives it back to him every night, and the Torah says, it's considered as if you did tzedakah. Now you can't do tzedakah with somebody else's money, so you see from the Torah that the Torah considers that security yours. What if a person gives what he thinks is his kala, he gives her money, she takes the money and throws it into the fire? No Kiddushin. She's showing she doesn't want to be miskadish, even though she's chayiv to pay for the money. Same thing would apply if she tells the chassan, do me a favor, take this money, give it to your father, give it to my father. Even if she says, give it to a poor person, that poor person is someone that she constantly supports, not a Kiddushin. But if she says, I want my father or your father to accept this money of Kiddushin, even if it's a stranger, he should accept the Kiddushin, the Kiddushin is chal. If she sees him holding a piece of bread, he says, Hared Mekudeshesli, with this bread. And she says, you know what, give it to the dog. Not a Kiddushin. Give it or put it on top of a stone, a rock. Not a Kiddushin. If the stone is hers, it's Kiddushin. The Gemara is Mesupek, what if both the chassan and the kala own the stone? If a dog is running after this woman, and she says, you know what, give the bread to the dog, so he stops chasing me, obviously that's what she meant. So the Gemara has a suffix whether or not it's Kiddushin. On the one hand, she has a lot of anah that he stopped the dog from harming her. As Rashi says, the dog wants to bite her. On the other side, he's anyways mechuyev to save her, and therefore maybe it's not considered anah. And the Gemara remains in a suffix. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful day.